So it's a fortunate thing for all of you to be here and with me. I feel very grateful and happy to have this time to share the practice a bit and the Dharma. So one of the ancient ways of meditating is to meditate with the breathing. And some of us have done a whole series now since the beginning of the year on mindfulness of breathing. And one of the options with mindfulness of breathing is to keep a constant. It's like the beat of a song. The beat's always going along, so just stay with the rhythm of breathing, but then not exclude other things. But if something else is strong and compelling, is to breathe with that strong thing, that other thing that's happening, so that we don't get caught up or entangled, thinking about and involved in too much with what's happening. We're able to be aware of it and present, but stay a little bit free of it without being entangled and being loose and easy with it. And so the breathing with it, keeping a focus on the breathing, and the breathing can keep us limber and loose, prevent us a little bit from seizing up or tightening up or around whatever's going on. And this ability to stay loose and easy by staying with the rhythm of breathing is quite helpful. So what I'd like to suggest for today is one variation of this, is that whatever happens during this meditation that makes it difficult for you to stay present in the present moment, whatever ways in which your mind gets pulled off into thoughts, or you get pulled into your emotions and concerns with your emotional life, or if there's strong physical sensations in your body, and the way in which that just really triggers some reactivity inside of you, and you're more involved in the reactivity than you are being present. Whatever is making it difficult for you, breathe with that. Just breathe through it, breathe with it, and see what happens if the massage of breathing, the rhythm of breathing, the way in which breathing is kind of maybe is a guard against getting caught in the reactivity, caught in the preoccupations, the wandering thoughts. So if you're having a lot of thinking and that you get pulled into your thoughts all the time, you don't necessarily have to let go of it, but breathe with it. Just breathe through it. Maybe 60% of your attention is on the breathing, and 40% on the thinking. And then what happens to your thoughts when you're lost in thought? Then 100% of your attention is kind of going into your thinking. But if 60% is just with the breathing, and you know you're thinking, but you're breathing with the thoughts, thinking or breathing through it, what shifts for you? What happens? So the best of your ability, stay with your breathing. And if, of course, you'll lose it, don't worry about that. Then in a funny way, the task is to breathe with having lost it. So you're right back with the breathing again. And rather than being preoccupied or upset that you've lost touch with the breathing, just breathe with that phenomena, and then you're right back with the breathing. And so I hope that this way you can enjoy your breathing, and it helps if you enjoy a little bit in a very modest way, and breathe with whatever makes it difficult for you to meditate. And if it's easy to meditate, then it should be easy to just stay with your breathing and get settled and focused and entering into that beautiful world of being settled on the breathing. So, assuming a posture that is suitable for you for this meditation session. And the idea is to take an intentional posture. A posture that expresses a little bit of intentionality, and like, yes, this is the posture I'm in. and adjusting the arms so that they are participating in this intentional posture. Adjusting a little bit the spine and the back, so it too is intentional in the way the spine participates or supports attention. And gently close the eyes. And especially with breathing now at the center of this meditation, gently take a few full deep breaths, 3/4 full. And gently exhale as much air as you can without it being a stress or a strain. Deep breath in and then relaxing the body as you exhale. Maybe especially as you long exhale, releasing the shoulders. Breathing in and breathing out, letting your breathing return to normal. And then scan through your body and breathe with whatever tension or holding you'll find in the body. Maybe without immediately relaxing it, but just breathing with it. And then continuing to breathe normally. On the exhale, now relax the different places of holding and tension in the body. Soften, attuning yourself to a softening of the body. Partly by recognizing where the body does feel soft or gentle or quiet. And then more fully centering yourself on the body breathing. Centering yourself on the experience of breathing. And gently quieting your mind. Perhaps allowing the mind to become softer, calmer. Breathing in and breathing out. And then as we sit here this morning, if anything takes you away from fully being with your breathing, continue being with the breath, but breathe with what wants to take you away. Breathe through it. Almost as if breathing is a way of better recognizing or acknowledging the forces of distraction and preoccupation. Nothing is wrong, nothing is a problem. It's just something else to breathe through, to breathe with, as it's all held in awareness. You don't have to let go of anything. Just make sure that 60% or so of your attention is on the breathing, not on what pulls you into its orbit, your thoughts, your feelings. 60% on the breathing, breathing with whatever is distracting you, preoccupying you. No need to struggle with anything. Instead, breathe with it. Breathe through it. 60% of the attention on breathing and 40% on what's happening. And then as we come to the end of the sitting, to say that it's also possible to breathe with others, in the presence of others, and to keep a good part of our attention staying with the massage of breathing. It's a protection from getting caught in the conversation or caught in the reactivity or self-consciousness when we're with someone. And when we're not caught in reactivity and thoughts, it might be easier to access kindness and care and generosity. It might be easier to be attentive to the other person, attentive in a way that doesn't box them in or limit them or diminish them somehow in our own eyes, but keeps them open, keeps them available, makes room for them. And may it be that as we go through the day, that our breathing, returning to our breathing, can also be a returning to a place of calm or peace or ease, from which we can reconnect to our goodwill, our well-wishing for others, our care, our love, our compassion. May it be that mindfulness of breathing supports warm-heartedness in our encounters with others. May it be that this meditation practice that we do is applied to improving the life of all beings. May it be that this practice we've done this morning, may it be for the happiness and the welfare of others. May it be for their safety and peace. May it be for their non-oppression, their freedom. And may it be that even in the smallest ways, that we contribute to make this possible. May our care and goodwill be present in our encounters with other people. May all beings be happy. So, good day everyone. And so this week, for these little Dharma talks, I'm telling stories, Buddhist stories. And some of these stories contain wonderful teachings and wonderful messages. Some of them are like Aesop's fables, with kind of wisdom fables. And there's one that I'm fond of, and partly because I've taught it a lot to children, and sometimes I've had children, and telling the story to them, I've had them act it out, and I think there's a lot of running around and sometimes yelling around that goes along with it. So I'll tell you this story, but please don't take it just as a children's story. Some of these stories have tremendously great value, and this one in particular, I think, applies to a lot that's happening in the United States with fake news and fear and anger and things like that. So it's one of the Jataka tales. It's one of the classic canonical kind of stories that kind of like fables that purport to be the past life stories of the Buddha when he was an animal. And he's the wise animal in these stories. And so in this story, there's a rabbit. The rabbit's not the Buddha. The Buddha's coming. And there's a rabbit. And the rabbit decides it's a nice day, comfortable day, middle of the day, and decides to take a nap underneath a tree. And falls asleep, is contentedly sleeping, napping. Everything is fine in the universe. And then suddenly, there's something large falls on the ground right next to the rabbit. Clunk, boom, bang. And the rabbit wakes up with a jolt and concludes that the sky is falling. So the rabbit jumps up and runs along yelling, "The sky is falling, the sky is falling," and comes across other rabbits. And the other rabbits say, "Why are you running?" He says, "Run, run, because the sky is falling." So the other rabbits join him, and they run into more rabbits, and same story, and more rabbits are running and then falling, and they're all yelling out, "The sky is falling, the sky is falling." And then they come across a group of deer, and the deer say, "What are you doing?" And the rabbits say, "The sky is falling, run, run." And first one deer runs, then a whole herd of deer runs, and they're all yelling, "The sky is falling, the sky is falling." And they go along further, and they come across rhinoceroses, and the rhinoceroses say, "What are you doing?" "Well, the sky is falling. You have to run for safety." And so first one rhinoceros, and then many rhinoceroses are running, and by this time the ground is shaking because there's so much weight and so many animals are running, afraid of the falling sky. And then they come across elephants, and pretty soon there's a huge herd of elephants pounding against the ground, shaking the ground. Everyone yelling frantically, "The sky is falling, the sky is falling." And they're heading to a big cliff, and they're kind of besides themselves in their fear. They don't even know where they're going, and they're heading straight to the cliff. They're all going to kind of fall right off. But towering above this cliff, another cliff on a kind of mountaintop, is a great lion. And the lion in the story is the Buddha. And the lion looks down and sees what's going on, sees the danger that all these animals are in. So the lion leaps down in front of the charging animals and roars, "Stop!" And all the animals screech to a halt in front of the lion. And the lion says to them calmly, "What is going on here?" And the elephant says, "Well, the sky is falling, the sky is falling." And the lion says, "Well, who told you that?" "Well, the rhinoceroses told me that." So the lion asked the rhinoceroses, "Well, who told you that?" "Well, the deer told me that." Asking the deer said, "Well, the rabbits." Asking the rabbits all then turned around and pointed to the first rabbit. "That's the one who told us." And the Buddha said to that rabbit, "Where did you get the idea that the sky is falling?" And the rabbit said, "Well, there was this loud bang of something falling right next to me." And the Buddha said, "Well, take us there." The lion said, "Take us there." And so with some trepidation, the rabbit led the whole large gathering of animals and the lion back to underneath the tree. It happened to be a mango tree. And laying on the ground right next to where the rabbit had napped was a mango. It was a mango that had fallen off the tree and landed right next to the head of the rabbit. So the Buddha pointed that out and said, "There's no sky falling. It was just a mango." And so everyone relaxed and went back to their different activities that these animals had. So the story of not running from what we're afraid of, but taking a good look to investigate what's really happening here. And to ask ourselves this very important question, from where did I learn some rumor, some idea And what's the source of that? And what's the source of that? The idea of understanding the source for our information. Is it just our opinion, like it was for the rabbit, I guess? A wild guess? Is it rumor? Is it what we've heard from someone else? We don't really know for ourselves, but we've heard, oh, I've heard a story. This is how it is out there. And then if fear is triggered, if anger is triggered, if it's something we've seen and seeing directly, maybe it's reasonable. But if it's many steps removed from the original, aren't we becoming like the herds of animals running towards the cliff? Aren't we start creating realities, creating world views and understandings and enemies and scenarios and doomsday ideas that we're running from, that we're preoccupied with, that where we lose our sensibilities? And how are we going to, who's going to be the lion that stops us, that says, stop? Let's go back and look, really take a good look or investigate what's really happening here. Let's follow the steps back. And probably there's not going to be a lion or a Buddha that's going to jump in front of us. But the Buddha, for us these days, represents our own capacity to say stop. A real healthy stopping. Stopping our running away, stopping running in circles, stopping our spinning out. Really stop and turn and look at what is happening. Turn and look towards the danger, if it's appropriate to look at it, to look towards our fear. And there is a kind of courage that's needed in Buddhist practice to stop and look at what we're afraid of, to stop and look at what we're angry at, to really look, what's really going on here? What's the real source of my reactivity, my reaction? And I know for me, recently I was somewhat angry with someone, maybe mildly, but it was kind of maybe annoyance or irritated or something. And I stopped to take a look at it, and I realized very quickly that a huge percentage of how I was irritated or annoyed has to do with the stories that I was making up about the situation, not about the actual situation. I didn't actually have all the information of what was happening. I was guessing, and in the guess, making a picture of what it was. And then I was reacting to my own picture, not to the person. And then I realized, oh, it isn't the other person I have to contend with. I have to contend with myself. And so that was, I stopped and looked and saw, where is it? And found it in myself. So you have the ability to stop. You have the ability to then turn and look and see what's really the source of this. Where is the beginning of this? Maybe it was just a mango that fell on the ground. And to support this ability to stop and take a good look, you have your breathing. To have a habit of coming back and just breathing with the situation. Breathing not to deny anything or turn away from anything, but the breathing consciously that gives us patience, gives a little bit room, breathing room, space for the mind to look and investigate and see what's really going on, that we don't have if we're caught up in all the animals of our mind, spreading rumors to each other and spinning out, and the whole, zoo of our mind is starting to race and run towards the cliff. Stop. Take a look. So the sky is falling. If you think that's the case, stop and take a good look at where that idea came from. And maybe you'll find instead, just maybe, that there's a sweet, ripe mango waiting for you. Some treasure, something, some sweetness and something delicious, something wonderful that is awaiting for you really look deeply at the situation, including yourself. So thank you, and we'll continue storytelling tomorrow.